Yo, 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 how everybody doing? We got a special guest today, Paul. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, dude. How about yourself?
Man,
Good to
I'm
be
doing
back.
good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to have you back, man. It's very exciting times, of course, what I'm saying? A little nervousness, but excitement as well when it comes to the Houston Texans. But y'all already know we're gonna talk some Texans ball. And before I do that, Paul, would you like to introduce yourself and let them know, where you repping from?
I work at, from time to time, Sports Radio 610. I try my best to post a podcast on Monday and Thursday nights called the Gallant Says podcast. I'm on a variety of social media platforms. If you want to see more of this extremely pasty face, just search. You'll find it. Love
Yeah.
talking about the Texans, and this is going to be a really interesting season. We've had 3 straight playoff years under D'Amico Ryans. There's been some success, but it keeps on ending in the same spot. Hopefully this year's different.
Yeah, man. So let's go on to start off. Let's talk about that. First, before we get into what the Texans did in the offseason, let's talk about your feelings right now towards the Texans. Let's talk about, what I'm saying, right after that Patriots game, or we can even talk about the Steelers game, but just tell me your feelings right now from what previous just happened.
This defense is so awesome, and I just don't trust CJ Stroud to play 3 to 4 clean playoff games in a row to get the Texans a Super Bowl. And we saw him his rookie year have an awesome touchdown to interception ratio, especially early on. It took him a really long time to throw that first pick. But something that I've gotten a little bit frustrated with CJ over the last couple of years, where year one, I believed this guy had the potential to be a top 3 regularly considered quarterback. I've now gotten to the point where, because I feel like he's gotten a little bit careless with the football, and we obviously saw that against the Patriots, but we saw it against the Steelers, and we saw it a little bit during the regular season. In fact, we've been seeing a lot since that Packers game in 2024. That element of CJ's game has to improve. Can it? Will it? I don't know. And it's a shame because in all my time covering the Texans, which has been since 2011, last year's defense was by far the best. They are awesome to watch. They have playmakers at every single level. The defensive line's got Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, Azeez Al-Shaair screaming around like a torpedo over the middle of the field. You got Jalen Petrie, who is fantastic coming off of the edge in that nickel corner position. You have the best 1-2 corner tandem in the league with Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter. You have Kalen Bullock patrolling the deep. I love that guy's game. He's got so much range. But you're looking at that offense and you're looking at the quarterback and you are wondering how much different will this look this year, and can they actually help the defense enough to get to where they are, at least in the eyes of some, capable of going? Because you see the Seahawks do it. You see Sam Darnold not shoot the Seahawks in the feet for those playoff games as they win the Super Bowl. Can CJ do that? I don't know.
Whew, man, it's like, so just to kind of like compare it with Sam Darnold, we know he's been at multiple locations and, happened to get with the Seahawks and do what he needed to do with that great defense. They also had a great defense, and just understand his assignment. He didn't need to be Superman. He didn't need to, be Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. He just needed to play good football. Don't turn the ball over. And, let that defense carry him on the way. Then don't get me wrong. Their offense was explosive. They have,
especially during the regular season, right?
We'll have some weapons. JSN, just, man, I still to this day kind of wish we took Will and JSN in that draft. But it is what it is. That happened. But at the end of the day, like that offense is explosive. But the quarterback, he's not like a top 5 quarterback in the league. You know what I'm saying? He's
sure
a good quarterback, and he does what he needs to do. So on that end, it's like I felt like CJ had that same opportunity to show, like, hey, I don't have to do too much. I don't have to really be rookie CJ Stroud. I just need to be the part of the rookie. What I did is not really turn the ball over. If I just do that and, manage it and allow the defense to kind of take care of us, we in good hands. So I was really confused at the press when he said after the game, he's so used to being Superman. CJ, in Houston, you haven't been Superman probably only one time. If we've been honest, one time versus the Bucks. when we, you know what I'm saying, the defense gave up a
that game,
touchdown.
right?
You know, rookie season, and he went down in 46 seconds. You know what I'm saying, with Tank Dell and the crew, and scored a touchdown, and like that was the time that he had to be Superman. But other than that, he really hasn't had to be Superman with his team. Like, yes, we need him to make plays and stuff like that. But as far as him saying that after the Patriots game, it still don't make sense to me, because it's like this defense has been so great all year. You haven't been Superman all year. So why try to change that in the playoffs? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think when you're a quarterback, much like you've heard several NBA players who are great but aren't the best player in the league say that they think they're the best player in the league, I think as a quarterback, you at least want to outwardly show that you have that mentality and that confidence that you've always been the guy. But you're right. His rookie season, he was doing a lot for this team that had a pretty good defense, but he was making a lot of things happen. And at a certain point, he got figured out, and the adjustments never really came. People are just dropping two back, and they're saying, hey, we're not going to let you beat us on those crossers, which you're so good at. And we've yet to see the next elevation of his game. And look, I know some optimistic Texans fans are going to look at Sam Darnold and say, well, any quarterback can do it. That might be an anomaly. And I think some other Texans fans who think that CJ Stroud still has what we saw back in that rookie season, they're going to say, well, it's the offensive coordinator holding him back. But I think it's in Stroud's best interests to really embrace the death by 1,000 cuts offense, which he's talked about, didn't seem that thrilled about last year, to embrace to what you were talking about, how you're not going to be chucking the ball down the field all game long.
Mm-hmm.
Dinking and dunking might suck, but if you got receivers who can do things with the ball, if you put it in the right spot and you call yourself a ball placement specialist, this offense can work. I saw it work for myself growing up a Patriots fan in Massachusetts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It does work. Can he embrace it? And can, of course, everybody around him, the offensive line, the running game, the offensive coordinator, give him the most help that they can. But, you know, make no mistake about it. We keep making excuses for him. We're in year 4. It's time and I want to know that he has the capability of being a guy that can win games on his own. And to what you were saying, I mean, really has been a while since it's felt like he's been the reason the Texans won a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that's the hard thing about it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, just to start from day one, before we drafted him, I did not want him. But at the same time, if we was gonna go quarterback, he was the only quarterback that I did want in that draft. But as far as like taking a quarterback that draft, I didn't want to take him. But we took him, and he did surprise us. A lot of people like to say, oh, he spoiled y'all. It's not that he spoiled us. He just did something that a rookie hasn't done, you know what I'm saying, his first year, by just coming in. And it wasn't like he was out there doing what Deshaun did with Houdini stuff, like make magic tricks. He wasn't doing that. He was actually reading defenses and taking advantage of and picking them apart. Like, you don't see that from a rookie. A lot of times rookies come in, they use their athleticism and stuff like that. And yes, they can, you know, read defense a little bit, but not to the T that he was doing. So that's was the like misunderstanding for the fans. It's frustration for the fans. And of course, I'm sure it's frustration inside the office as well, whether they want to tell us or not. You know, they're going to make it seem like, oh, they believe. But I'm pretty sure it was frustration on their part, and also for CJ come to these last 2 years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how I try to feel is like it can only be up from here. Like
especially after that last game, yeah.
It just can't get no worse than what just happened in the playoffs. And of course, the fans and even the organization, like everybody felt like, man, this is the perfect opportunity to finally go to the Super Bowl, or at least finally get to the AFC Championship. But we kind of feel like, and honestly, whether some want to agree or not, and I know this is how I felt, and I still feel like this, we feel like one person was the reason that we actually didn't get past to the AFC Championship. Like, it's just no way. But I guess we can move on from, you know what I'm saying, last year.
Try
to move forward. But tell me some of your most likable moments from the Texans in this offseason, like when it comes to the draft.
Well, I would say between free agency and the draft, they finally said we're going to aggressively tackle upgrading the offensive line, which they didn't really do last offseason. They move on from Laramie Tunsil, they get the draft picks, and I think you're going to see just a complete attitude shift from the offensive line. This is nothing against Laramie Tunsil, who a lot of people think to be one of the better offensive linemen in the game. I don't study offensive line, so I'm not going to act like I know who's the best. Does seem like there's generally a consensus opinion on who's the best, and everyone kind of rolls with it. I always thought that Laramie Tunsil was about Laramie Tunsil, Laramie. Hey, I'm not judging you. If you're the best tackle in the game and you're great at getting yourself paid over and over again, that's fine. But they move on from him. And I always felt like Titus Howard wasn't necessarily somebody who was the number one apostle of Laramie Tunsil, but I think that the offensive line definitely needed an attitude shaking. So they have just completely moved on from the biggest pieces that they used to have. And while they obviously have tried out a variety of expatriates, from Jake Andrews to Shaq Mason to City fucking Sal, they have gotten to a point now where bringing in Wyatt Teller, bringing in a Braden Smith, a couple of veteran guys, and then bringing in this guy in Keelan Rutledge, who you keep on hearing all these great things about what a mauler he is, was a physical specimen he is, yada, yada, yada. At the very least, I know what the Texans want to try to do. And then when you bring in a guy like David Montgomery, who is a fantastic red zone scorer, which the Texans were so bad at last year, when you've got a plan, I could see how this plan can be executed with everything that you brought in this offseason. So the idea of the Texans this coming year, going away from what a lot of the league is going towards, spreading things out, becoming like that physical, run it down your throat kind of rushing attack, I think that complements the defense that they have pretty well. It shortens the game. It takes pressure off of CJ Stroud's shoulders. It might allow for CJ Stroud to get some of those big explosive plays that he wants through play action if you're able to set that up. So it'll be really interesting to see. But that, to me, Kenneth, is the thing that I like the most, is that this offseason they looked at themselves in the mirror and they said, we're going to tackle this so damn hard. And sure, it might not work out, but at the very least, like if you've been mad about the offensive line in the past, they did improve from start to finish last year. And then this year they went super aggressive in terms of trying to upgrade it. So we'll see how it pans out, but I like what I see thus far in terms of the moves that they made. Now they just got to execute it during the games.
Correct. I agree, man. It's like when it comes to the year before, the 2025 season, it was like, hey, Nick, we kind of wish you would have did what you just did this past offseason last year, but at the end of the day, he did it finally. And also, just want to talk about the Laramie Tunsil and the Titus Howard. I felt like Laramie was a great tackle, but his mentality just wasn't what we needed it to be. He was more about me, like you said, and he wasn't about we. Like when it came to the post conference and all that stuff, talking about trying to protect himself and just kind of like throwing everybody else under the bus. And it's like, come on, man, you're supposed to be the leader on this line. So I was not mad that they made that move. A couple of fans was, but it is what it is. I just felt like we did need like a different mentality as far as our leader. Now, Titus kind of followed along with Laramie when it came to the flashy stuff, the drill.
And I got no problem with that. I mean, the guys were both fantastic. As someone who is called metrosexual often, like those guys dress well. I'm not going to hate on it, but I also want a guy who's going to, if someone touches my quarterback, I want him to pull out a beer bottle and smash that guy on the head.
Exactly. Like when we go back to that Packers game, when CJ got hit on the side, and nobody ran over there. That was come on. That was a crazy moment right there. Just didn't make sense at all. And that's what you don't want for your offensive line. Like you want them to be ready to go do whatever.
To go after the guy that goes after CJ the way that everyone on the Jaguar sideline went after Azeez Al-Shaair. I mean, obviously from a Texans perspective, you're like, he was sliding, but he didn't do a very good job of sliding. But like, every Jaguars teammate had Trevor Lawrence's back there. Would have been nice to see that from the offensive line the last couple of years. I think we will see it. And with the guys that they brought in and with the guy that they have in charge of the offensive line, Cole Popovich, who says he's a distant relative of Greg Popovich, I am really intrigued by what year 2 is going to look like for that group, especially who they brought in this offseason.
Yeah, I agree. I'm honestly, as far as mentality wise, because that's always key. A lot of people like kind of try to ignore that, but the mentality is very important when it comes to the offensive lineman. We know D'Amico preach swarm, smash mouth football. You need your offensive linemen to be that. And if they are not that, they just worrying about how they dress and get out there and do a little something. Not ready to put it all out on the field for their quarterback. We can't have that. So I definitely think that is going to be a change this year. I'm happy Nick did what he did, you know what I'm saying, as far as the Braden Smiths, the Wyatt, like all those different moves. Then even the guy we drafted, I wasn't familiar with him, but when I did my research and then I saw how he was talking, and I'm like, okay, he got a dog mentality. He's strictly about football. He don't care about nothing else. He's just ready to get to work. So that's the type of stuff we want to see. And that's the type of stuff we want to hear. And also we just hope, like you said, hopefully it all works out, you know what I'm saying, for the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm definitely excited to see how this O-line work. Let's talk about David Montgomery. How do you feel about the trade for David Montgomery this offseason?
You know, a lot of people got worked up about the capital that was given up, and I think we maybe got a little bit greedy. The Texans got Joe Mixon because the Bengals were trying to get rid of Joe Mixon. That's why they got him for a late round draft pick. A guy like David Montgomery, who is not exactly the cheapest, trading a mid-round draft pick, when we're talking 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, think of those as chances at getting a contributor, but more than likely, you're going to find a guy who might play the entirety of his 4-year rookie contract. So I didn't get worked up about that. I think that the people that take a look at draft picks, draft value with trades, I think they get a little bit too crazy with thinking about the possibilities of every single pick. Sure, could you have traded maybe a slightly worse pick to go and get David Montgomery? I guess. But they like something about his game. And you know what I like about his game? Again, you know, don't make too much out of scored touchdowns. Obviously, fantasy football culture is sometimes ruining NFL discourse. But when you are a team that cannot score in the red zone and are making Kaimi Fairbairn kick a field goal seemingly every time you make it inside the other team's 20, you want a guy who's hard-nosed, who can give you 3 and maybe fall forward for that 4th yard. And that's what you get in Montgomery. I wouldn't say he's flashy. I'm not going to act like he's, you know, Jerome Bettis or any of those other power backs of yesteryear. But this is a guy that I think is great for a team that needs way more than it had the running back position last year. The ghost of Nick Chubb, Woody Markson forced into an expanded role, and I think he would be perfect as a 3rd down back. Jawar Jordan, who had that great game, but he's a bit of an undersized guy. Mm-hmm. So I'm a fan of it, and also it's just crazy how many Iowa State players that the Texans have. It's wild. This is Xavier Hutchinson, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, and David Montgomery. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it is crazy. Hopefully they can help this offense be as much more explosive than it's been the previous years, honestly. But speaking of the running back room, also just to let you know, I was one of the fans that was really advocate about us trading for David Montgomery. If we wasn't about to trade up to try to get a legit running back in the draft, I wanted us to get David Montgomery. And Nick Caserio did that. I don't know if he saw my messages or whatever happened, but he made it happen, and I'm happy about it. But I will say I feel like we need one more running back. I feel like you said, honestly, the running back room right now, they are small. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of do feel like we don't know where Joe Mixon is at right now as far as with his ankle or whatever happened. But if he was healthy or whatever happened last year, if that wouldn't have happened, him along with David Montgomery would have been a crazy duo.
Yeah.
Upcoming season. Me personally, I don't know. I will see if you're not going to go get somebody else, see what's up with Joe Mixon. I know we waived him, but see what's up with Joe Mixon and give him a cheap deal or something. and just or at least let him try out or something. See what the team's doing.
I don't know. I think the fact that they waived him is a red flag as far as whatever happened. Now, to the Texans' credit, they're keeping it private. They're protecting Joe Mixon, and they're doing a very, very diligent job. If you paid attention to something Tank Dell said about making sure the players aren't disclosing their injury status, whether that's to protect them getting paid in the future or to protect them from other people going after their body parts, Greg Williams style. But you're right in terms of they're an injury away from having to make a trade. And, you know, it's Montgomery or Marks going down where you're looking at yourself in the mirror and wondering, damn, are we going to have to overpay with another draft pick to get in somebody who can shoulder the load in the short term? And, you know, it's a 17-game season. There's a very good chance that at least one of these running backs will miss multiple games. Very good chance. So what happens there? Do you feel great about Jawar Jordan? Do you feel great about British Brooks, your fullback, putting him perhaps in a role like that? I mean, you don't even have Daria Gunbawale anymore, who they've always had a little bit too much faith in. So it'll be interesting to see. But at the top, I like having David Montgomery, and I think that Woody Marks does a lot of things as a third down running back that should make you feel pretty confident. This is something I brought up on Sports Radio 610 today. I was filling in for John Lopez with Reginald Atatula. We were talking about some things that have been said about Woody Marks by the Texans running back coach. And I started thinking to myself, I know there's a lot of people that hate the Patriots offense, the Patriots way. And I get it, you know, from Bill O'Brien to where we're at now, Jack Easterby. And so there's been a lot of things where you're like, Jesus, enough. But something that the Patriots always had from 1999 through, I guess, whenever James White retired, they always had a capable third down kind of running back. Started with Kevin Falk, who was a legend at LSU. They drafted him in 1999, and he was always there to make a play on third down for the Patriots for the early half of Tom Brady's career. After that, there was a Shane Vereen, Danny Woodhead era, and then after that, there was James White. They found ways to maximize what a running back can do for you on third down. And of course, on other downs too. They had a stable of running backs that they were rotating through over all of the years. It was never just one guy, but those third down running backs catching passes on checkdowns from Tom Brady, making matchup problems for linebackers, and also being able to catch the football. That was always key. And if you have that in Woody Marks, I'm very curious to see what year two of a Nick Caley offense, seeing what Marks can be when he's not being used as an every down running back. I'm really curious to see what that would bring to the table. If you want to be optimistic about anything Patriots related, it's, hey, they've found a way over time to make the most out of running backs who've got hands.
I agree. And that's, for me, I think that should be Mark's role. I'm not too, don't get me wrong, as of right now, yes, he's running back too. But I would like to see them add another running back, like Alvin Kamara, even though that's probably way above, money-wise, and it might not even make sense. But Alvin Kamara will be the second back coming in, and then you have Woody be that third down back. Now, we know Woody might feel some type of way. Woody honestly wants to be the 1-2 punch with David Montgomery, but does it make sense for him to be the running back too? You know what I'm saying? The one, just putting, because at the end of the day, one of them are going to miss at least 2 or 3 games.
You would think.
Woody, he got hurt about 3, how many times this season? Yes, he came back into the game, but he went out of the game 5 or 6 games and came back. And then he also missed, I think, 2 or 1 game. So that's kind of my worry. Yes, David Montgomery, we may feel like he has a lot of mileage left on him. You know, he ain't really had too much usage due to the fact that he was on the Lions and they had one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best.
Gibbs, yeah.
You know, so at the end of the day, I think the Texans definitely needs to make another move, at least a solid guy. It don't have to be a splash or a big type of move like an Alvin Kamara or something like that. It can be something simple, but hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we do make that move before we have to wait till the season and something happen. And now we got to, we in panic mode a little bit.
Right.
We want the game to be consistent.
Now, sometimes guys get cut at the end of training camp, so maybe there will be someone available at the end of training camp or someone about to be cut. And Nick Caserio has always been aggressive when he hears someone's about to get cut. If he wants the guy, he will trade for the guy. So maybe that will happen. But yeah, because after Woody Marks and David Montgomery, Jawar Jordan, Evan Hull, Joshua Pitsenberger, Noah Whittington. I mean, that's what you have currently on your roster. Joshua Pitsenberger, bless his heart, 31-year-old who played at Yale for college. Still in the league. So credit to him. But yeah, go to Texans.com and there's not even a picture next to him.
Yeah, that's crazy. The rookie from Oregon, I mean, of course we can't have no type of expectations, but let's see what he do in preseason. Maybe he'll show us something.
That's your chance.
Yeah. But I have another question for you as far as since we're talking about the rookie, let's talk about who was your favorite Texans draft pick in this 2026 draft.
I think everyone agreed Caden McDonald because he fell to you and he's joining a defense that's already so great up front. And to have a guy like that on a rookie contract when you're not 100% sure if you're going to be able to keep Tommy Togiai around long term, he's on an incredibly reasonable contract and everyone's been hyping him up. To have a guy like that, in addition to Togiai, in between Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter is fantastic. He's got, I think, the same build as Vince Wilfork, who played for the Texans and was so great with the Patriots before that. I'm a big fan of that pick. And everyone seems to be in agreement that that was the best pick. Rutledge is intriguing. I wonder if he'll play from the get-go. It's tough to pick up a system when you are drafted because of the limited offseason that you have. Right now, at OTAs and at minicamp, Rutledge has been walking through and learning what he's supposed to do on a play-to-play basis. Then he's going to have a couple of weeks in training camp where it's full contact going up against the best defense in the league. Great. But when you're really getting your first taste of battle against seasoned dudes, grown-ass men, are you going to look your best to the point where the Texans are like, this is one of our 5 best offensive linemen? I get that he's a first-round pick, so the expectation in the eyes of many is, yes, he will be that. But at least for now, seems like he is not a lock to be a starter as the season opens up. I think Jake Andrews, Evan Brown, these are a couple of offensive linemen that have been rotating in at center, which seems like would be the logical place where Rutledge would be able to slide in to open up the year. So I'm measured with my expectations about Rutledge. We're hearing all the right things. But for me, it's clearly McDonald, mainly because everyone else is saying how much they love that pick.
Yeah, that pick was definitely surprising. The fact that he did fail when he went, it was just a good thing. Because we as Texans fans and just also as an organization, we've been waiting for that, D tackle, that young D tackle to get on this team that can really get after it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Tommy is pretty good, but he was an undrafted guy. And we had a bunch of veterans playing D tackle for us. And so most of them played pretty well for us. But just to have that young guy, to let he hopefully he shows that, he's going to be our future great defensive tackle. He has big, goals. He's talking about all-pro defensive rookie of the year. He's talking that good talk. I mean, of course, some of those may feel out of reach to most of us in our eyes for him, but he don't believe that. So that's a good thing to see. You know what I'm saying? So also, it just, like I said already, I love how these rookies, a lot of our rookies have a great mindset, and you can't fake it. You really can't fake it. You could tell if somebody just all talk. These guys got to talk, and we seen from their footage, they also walk it as well. So it's exciting to see what they look like in the preseason and hopefully in the regular season as well. As far as Keelan, I felt like I talked about this last week. I told the guys I don't think that he's going to start right away. I mean, for the Houston Texans, that's just rare that a rookie offensive lineman start right away. If we be honest, Ursery probably wouldn't have started last year if Ingram was playing last year. I think they would have had Ingram. Of course, Ingram would have been at right guard, and Titus would have been at right tackle. They had Ursula at right tackle, and they had Cam at left tackle. That pick, we not gonna talk about that. That's
I mean, it was such a shit show in terms of all the shuffling last year. And to their credit, like they somehow made the most of it. I do think they got better as the season went along. And I know a lot of people were frustrated, but yeah, it was messy. And hopefully it's less messy this year. But this is a team that's shown that they like to mix and match. And, you know, I guess the one concern that I have is just the history for the Texans, and specifically just post Gary Kubiak with O'Brien and everybody else. They love to move offensive linemen around. And that's tough if you're a young player. That's tough if you're first cracking into the league. You know, going all the way back to Xavier Suafilo, a guy that was one of the first picks of the Bill O'Brien era, second round pick, first overall pick of the second round. Like he always was facing, it seemed like, an uphill battle trying to figure out how to play in this league. And, you know, with a guy like Juice Scruggs too, who's now an afterthought on this team, it's really tough to play this position, and it's really difficult to get the necessary training wheels, if you will, to get to a point where like coaches are going to feel comfortable just throwing you out there. So hopefully they can gradually work him in, but there's a very real chance, just given how banged up offensive linemen get, that he might just get thrown into the fire at some point.
Yeah, I agree that for sure. And honestly, hopefully, for what I see, if everybody is healthy, and you know what I'm saying, the Jake Andrews and everybody, and also the Wyatt at left guard, and of course Ingram, if everybody in the interior is healthy, I don't think Kalen starts right away. I think it may take a couple of weeks, probably to week 8, who knows? But I think it's going to take a good amount of time, as long as Jake Andrews is holding up, you know what I'm saying, his assignment, which I kind of have my doubts at times, depending on who we go up against, because when we go against the Justin Simmons, and honestly, this upcoming season, the regular season, those first 5 weeks, we going up against some dogs at the D tackle position. So I would not like to put Keelan to that. You know?
Yeah.
So Jake Andrews, hopefully you can hold it up, and if whatever happens, happens. But as far as Keelan, yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with him. I don't like the switching players around, and I feel like that kind of held Titus back a little bit. Titus was decent for us. He was pretty good. He wasn't a bad offensive lineman.
No, he's a good player.
He was a good player.
He was versatile, but eventually too expensive, in my opinion.
I agree, and that's why we got rid of him. The Browns gave him a good little bag. Shout out to them, and congratulations to him. But yeah, man, I guess we can move it along as far as your favorite free agent signing.
Okay, favorite free agent signing. This one is tricky because I think, as far as free agency went, you're bringing in offensive linemen. I don't know what to expect out of them, you know? Like, let me see. Let me think. I'm going to look at the list really quickly. You got Braden Smith. You got Wyatt Teller. You got Evan Brown. I want to say this. Curveball. As somebody who was at a very low level of high school football, above average at a very low level of high school football, safety. I like to see some representation for for the white defensive backs. So to see Reed Blankenship in the mix, hell yeah. And also, I mean, you know, remember last year where we were thinking to ourselves, oh my God, the Texans just got CJ Gardner-Johnson, Super Bowl champion, added to that secondary.
Yeah,
I know I fell for that hook, line, and sinker. This guy's got the right attitude, yada, yada, yada. Turns out he was a shitty teammate. And then, of course, you know, I mean, God, I'm even forgetting his name right now. Jimmy Ward, like, we never saw the guy. Yeah. So you have an actual safety. You have a safety that you can trust. And they're all saying the right things about Reed Blankenship. So we're looking to see if this Texans defense can get better than it was last year, which is a very high bar to clear. But you have a real contributor on a team that's been damn good the last few years. and hopefully he just doesn't turn out to be C.J. Gardner-Johnson 2.0 coming over from Philly.
Yeah.
I doubt it will happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we are. It's that C.J. Gardner situation is so odd. Like I really, it's like you see how he acts. You know what I'm saying, on his social media platforms and even in the game as well. Like we see how he acts. Just didn't think that he will come here and feel some type of way about him not playing the position he feel like he should be playing, and that type of stuff. I guess it is what it is. It was definitely unfortunate. I was excited for that. I thought it was a match made. You know what I'm saying, that we traded away Kenyon Green, and you know what I'm saying, and we traded this. Like that seemed like it was a steal.
I know, it was crazy. Like we traded away the worst player, the most disappointing Texan in recent memory for a Super Bowl caliber safety who got a lot of takeaways last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a dog, and we know he was going to contribute as a, you know what I'm saying, and fit the swarm mentality. But unfortunately, that didn't go how we thought it would go. But it is what it is. Definitely Reed, I'm excited to see, like, because it's like, man, he's a good player, and he's coming to this defense. Like, all he has to do is do his role, play his role.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the most, like, just play your role. You have all these stars and superstars on this defense and future superstars on this defense. So all you have to come here do is just play your role, man, and ball out and have fun. Like, so, and I think he's going to do that. I think he's going to do that for sure.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
So, this defense is great. It's all about the offense, but to add to that level of the team is awesome. I guess if I had one little concern about the defense, it's the linebacker depth with EJ Speed being out. I don't think EJ Speed's a huge loss, but it does put your depth into question. You still have Azeez Al-Shaair. Hopefully he continues to play at the level he's been playing at. He's been awesome, and I think he's the perfect, I guess, captain to, at the center level of the defense, be exactly what DeMeco Ryans wants, which is just an intense, I'm going to go after everybody 100 miles per hour at all moment in times. Flags be damned. I wonder, though, about the other guys around him. What happens if Azeez gets hurt? Who steps up? Is it Henry To'oTo'o? Is it Woodaz? I don't know. I know that we've seen this offensive, this linebacker group without Azeez Al-Shaair have some moments they'd like to have back. I would say specifically against the Raiders.
Yep. Just going to call it how it is. Henry To'oTo'o, man. Like I'm gonna say this. Like I like Henry To'oTo'o. I just know the man cannot cover deep end for nothing. If it's past 5 yards, good luck. Good luck. So that's my only thing with him. But he's great at stopping the run. He's great at stopping screens. Like he's really legit at stopping screens. He sees it, and he getting you in the backfield. You know what I'm saying? You losing yardage when you're trying to do a little screen, and he's getting back there, getting after. So I like him in that aspect. But as far as being the leader when Azeez is out, you know, that like you said, I'm a little skeptical of that. Me personally, why not Nick Caserio reach out to Bobby Wagner, see what he got going on, see if he would like to come. You know what I'm saying?
You might want to play on this defense. I covered him up in Seattle, and you know, hopefully he's still got something left in the tank. I felt like his play was not the all-pro level that I was being told it was when I was up in Seattle. People did not like that. I felt that way about him. But yeah, if he's looking for not much money and to join a defense that is awesome top to bottom, all right, come on down.
Yeah, have a chance to possibly win another ring, you know?
Yeah.
Why not? You know what I'm saying? But, of course, we got to hope that Nick Caserio and DeMeco are probably – and I know I've seen some rumors, but, you know, it could just be talks that they are possibly looking to bring him in. But we will never know exactly until it actually happens. I kind of hope it happens because losing EJ Speed, a veteran, it's not a big blow, but at the same time, it's like, we do need another guy just in case, like Azeez get hurt, because Azeez have his moments here and there where he misses games, not just because of getting, you know, suspended, but he gets hurt as well. But just having another guy just for insurance would definitely help. And then a guy like Bobby Wagner, you know what I'm saying, it's just, you know, he's a leader. He understands the game well, like great. And why not have him, even if he just coming in just to help out the young guys and
Yeah.
also help build Aziz more, Aziz only 26, 27, so help him grow as well. And if you help him grow even more, we talking all pro level, so I would like for the Texans to do that. That's just me.
I hope so. Somebody else is going to be needed. Running back and linebacker, they better have some guys on speed dial, and hopefully those injuries don't happen. But we know it's the National Football League, not for long, blah, blah, blah. It's a violent game, and there's a very real chance that they will be without some of those guys for a little bit.
Yeah. How do you feel about the receiver room?
It's really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what they bring, because I've always believed the year 1 to year 2 jump of a wide receiver is generally when you see the biggest jump. Maybe took Nico Collins an extra year to get that huge jump that we saw out of him his first year with CJ Stroud. Maybe also just having a better quarterback than Davis Mills helps on that front. Jaden Higgins, from all accounts, and I have not been out at Texans OTAs and minicamp. I like to try and go out. I have not been out for this time around. But based off of some observations that I've seen from specifically Cody Stutes, Landry Locker, SNL, it's that the rapport between CJ and Jaden Higgins has not been great in training camp. And if you go back to some of the games, sure, Jaden Higgins had his moments, but every now and then there would be these weird, like Stroud's throwing the ball a little bit too high to him. Yep. So I wonder what that's all about. Jalen Knoll, I am so excited to see this guy actually play and not have Christian Kirk block him. Kirk was a massive disappointment last year. I thought that could be a pretty nice signing. But, you compare what Kirk did for you to what Stephon Diggs did for the Patriots after tearing his ACL. And you just wonder, what was it that Christian Kirk was doing and that Jalen Knoll wasn't doing that led to him not playing? His speed, it's awesome. If you've seen him with the ball in his hands on the occasional punt return, you know what he can do. So Knoll intrigues me. I wish I could be as glass half full as a lot of Texas fans out there who saw Tank Dell at practice wearing a helmet, doing some light jogging. I wish I could be as excited that he could be Tank Dell again. I'm pretty skeptical we'll ever see that guy again, but he's going to give it his best. We're all rooting for him to prove people like me wrong.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting room, Kenneth. And I am wondering what the ultimate pecking order is going to be after Nico Collins, who of course misses games just about every single year.
Mm-hmm. Man, you said his name. I know a lot of people may not agree with this, but why not hit up Diggs' line?
The legal trouble's in the past now. He's fine.
Exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dismissed is,
he costs money.
My thing, I agree. Apparently we still paying him some type of money. I think they say I
leave that to the cap people, but I'm sure that's possible. And here's the thing about the Texans. They are not a team that is cash strapped. They are cool with paying guys, whether they're head coaches, when they had like 3 coaches who were fired, they're paying at once, or it's players that are no longer here. They're fine with footing the bill and moving on.
Yeah. I think we need to, I think the reason this, I'm going to explain why I think we should bring this back, because, some people might be like, man, why would we do that? But at the same time, it's like, hey, he can be a great insurance. We really don't know who's our wide receiver too. Like, people can say, oh, the Texans got Tank Dell coming back. I'm sorry, Tank Dell. I'm just not going to have my expectations up like how you may have them and how your teammates may have them or the organization may have them. I just got to see it when it happens. And if he comes back and he looks well and he get, 5 to 7 touchdowns, you know what I'm saying? It don't even have to be 1,000 yards. It could be 600 to 800. If he can get to that close, then all right. Then maybe he's wide receiver too. But as of right now, and like you talked about it, Jaden Higgins, I feel like he's a good receiver. And I feel like he's a good weapon that CJ and him has not connected well yet. And I saw last year, like you just explained, I was confused on a lot of plays that CJ overthrowing him. And it's like, man, he sits forward. Like, he's the same body frame as Nico Collins. How are you overthrowing him? Where is the misunderstanding, disconnect at? Like, what's going on? And I don't know, throwing the ball too low at times, and he was still catching it. I don't understand the connection. Some may, this is just rumors, but some may feel like CJ don't want Jaden Higgins to look really good because he won't. You know what I'm saying? He won't his guy Tate to still be safe. So when he comes back,
they are besties. Yeah, yeah.
That's what he talked about. Tank getting his number one after the Patriots lost. He talking about he wants to get his number one back. Like, man, come on. Like, you talking about that. We need to understand what was going on in this game. So I mean, at the end of the day, hopefully, like I don't wish nothing bad on Tank. I really hope he can come back.
No, everyone wants him back. That guy, like he's awesome. He went to Houston for school. Like this dude, everyone's rooting for him. Yep. He has dealt with like a lot of just unfortunate setbacks. I mean, his knee exploded on a touchdown. He's been shot. He broke his tibia, like where he was in this weird situation. Like he has had the worst luck. So hopefully we actually see some luck in his favor. And one last guy, I forgot to mention him. Out of Boston College, played in Bill O'Brien's offense at Boston College, which is not that different from what the Texans are running. Lewis Bond has, in the eyes of some, looked pretty good in OTAs and in minicamp. I don't know what to make of it. He's a late round draft pick. I don't know if he makes the roster. There's going to be a lot of competition because you've also got Justin Watson, who's probably going to be around, and some other players. A lot of wide receivers that are going to be there in training camp. But he is an interesting one, a lot more interesting than I thought he would be when they drafted him towards the end of the draft.
Yeah, I'm definitely can't wait to see preseason and see what he does, because he can show us something. You know what I'm saying? Just he don't have to be too flashy, whatever the case may be, but just show that you can catch the ball, you can run the routes well, which it seems like he can do. From his tape, he runs routes really well, and hopefully, him and CJ can have a good connection. If that, if he shows that he looks good with Davis Mills, or I can't think of the third string quarterback, but
Rammertz.
Yeah, that it just seems like, I don't know. Hopefully CJ, his connection with all the receivers as well, because we're gonna need him spreading that thing around.
Yeah.
Nico is no wide receiver one, but if the team try to take him out the game, we need to be able to go elsewhere. And not only that, elsewhere, we could talk about Dalton Schultz. Him and Dalton Schultz have a great connection. Hopefully Dalton is better, from last year. He was pretty good last year. I just feel like his blocking needs to get better. But I like what they did in the offseason as far as getting the tight end from the Saints. And also as far as the draft that we got at 59 pick, it's like he runs a 4.6, he's 6'6". Okay, his tape is cool. He's reaching back, catching some difficult catches. Okay, cool, but why at 59? I'm hoping this man can really be something special in the future. I'm not expecting it this year, you know what I'm saying? But if he does, that's a bonus. But as far as that pick, I'm just hoping in the near future he can be, a great tight end.
Same here. He's real raw. Obviously coming over from Germany and all that. Foster Moreau, you've got Brevin Jordan back. We'll see if this year he also is lucky, because he's had the worst luck on that front. They love him as a blocker. He's got athleticism, or at least he used to have athleticism. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at that position. And really every part of the offense, what kind of step forward are you taking from quarterback to tight end? They are the part of this team that needs to be better. And if they are better, there is a real chance of them going at least to the AFC Championship game. I wish that I could strongly believe, though, that specifically the quarterback is going to make that step. Prove me wrong, CJ.
Yeah.
Do it.
At this point, because this is how I feel, because Paul, me last year, I was predicting a lot of stuff, and it was happening. I predicted we would win out, go 12-5. We did that. I was predicting a lot of different stuff, and I predict that CJ will have a great playoff, a great playoff, and go do great in the playoffs. Go take us to the AFC Championship for the first time, take it to the Super Bowl, and win the Super Bowl MVP. Well, that did not happen. That prediction did not happen at all. At all, I was frustrated to the T, like to the top. Like it was very frustrating. But hey, CJ, like now I'm not going to be saying, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I'm just hoping it don't get worse from what we just recently saw. But at the end of the day, prove everybody wrong that think we don't, that they having their doubts. Just go out there and do it, And this little speech that he did at his foundation thing at the church when he said what matters is his response. And that's true. That's a great
life. Yeah.
Exactly. In life, period. What matters is your response to the hard times. Do you get down? Do you, be down and just be negative and all that type of stuff? Or do you say, nah, hey, I did this. We're going to learn from it. Let's push and move forward. So I'm expecting him to do that. Now, will that happen? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it looks because he can bounce back, respond well, but how does that well look? You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
It could be better than last year, but is it enough?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, sometimes, yes, we have a great defense, but we're going to need this offense to be, yes, they can be in the middle of the pack, but sometimes we might need them to be, you know what I'm saying, take it up to look like a top 15 at least type of offense because it's going to be needed for sure because we can't put everything in the defense.
Yeah. So step your game up, y'all.
Yeah.
Do it.
Sure. So this is the worst part, you know what I'm saying, is our wise words of Crenshaw because it's on the end. But Paul going to let them know where they can follow you at, man.
Yeah.
On the social media platforms.
YouTube at Paul Gallant, Twitch at Gallant Says, Facebook at Gallant Says, Instagram at Sports Gallant, TikTok at Gallant Says, X at Gallant Says Pod, and subscribe, rate, review the Gallant Says podcast wherever you get it. We talk a lot of Texans, but we talk all sorts of other weird shit. If you're into that, stop on by, and I'll try not to talk your ear off, but I still will.
Yeah, no problem, man. Y'all can follow the guys on the channel that's able to make it tonight. Matt, A1 Day 1, Fifth Ward Crenshaw, and also 713 Huncho. And y'all can follow me at Here Can Out. And also continue to support the Texans Fan Butter podcast. That's it for the night. And y'all stay up. And also talk about this real quick. This Saturday, the softball celebrity game for Kamari Lassiter is this Saturday at the stadium, the Space City Cowboy Stadium. So
nice.
If y'all can get y'all tickets and pull up, we're going to be there. So, yeah, y'all stay up and be blessed. We out.
Peace.